Convert to a Roth IRA. You hear it all the time. You've probably heard it. You've probably watched some videos about it. Heck, I've got videos about it. What does it mean? More importantly, how do you do it? That's the topic of the day. Stick around. We're going to talk all about it. Hi, I'm Antonio Sabella. Welcome to our page. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more timely financial topics. Today's topic, let's dive right in, Roth conversions. Everybody knows what it is. Let's talk about how you do it. So before we dive in, we're going to take a quick trip back in history. We're going to have a history lesson. Once upon a time, people would go to work for a company. They had a pension. They'd work for a company for 30, 40 years. They'd retire. They'd have Social Security. They'd have a pension. They'd have some money in the bank for savings. And that was how they lived. And that was good for generations, right? And then what happened? Well, there was a switch from defined benefit plans. That's a pension. The benefit is defined, you know what you're going to get, to a defined contribution plan. That's a 401k typically. That's where you, the participant, the person who's working for the company, now has to fund their own retirement. Maybe the company gives you some match, but the company's transferred the risk of retirement from themselves being required to make these pension payments to their employees, saying, hey, you put money away for retirement and we'll give you a little something to help out. When that happened, the old model was broken. So we were told for years, an entire generation piled money up in these qualified retirement vehicles, right? Contribute to an IRA, contribute to your 401k, max out your contributions. And it was good in a way because it had people save money for retirement. But now we've got this boomer generation, this entire generation who's got money put away that's all to be taxed. They did a good job of saving, but they did it into vehicles that were available at the time that said you get a deduction when you put it in, it grows tax deferred, and it's to be taxed when you take it out. They're now staring down the barrel. They're close to retirement, looking at these big balances that are subject to taxation. Well, guess what else is happening? We're spending money like never before, right? We're running these massive deficits. The federal deficit is humongous right now, and it continues to grow. And the only way to balance that out is either to cut spending or to raise taxes. Now, you can draw your own inference on what might happen there, but most folks that I talk to, they say, yeah, I could see taxes going up in the future. We've already started to hear some chatter about it down in Washington about ways that they're going to kind of nip away and raise taxes so that they've got more money coming in to pay for all of this money that we're spending. So what happens there? Well, you've got two paths that are converging. You've got a generation with most of their wealth tied up in accounts to be taxed, $6.7 trillion sitting in 401ks alone right now. And you've got the likelihood of higher taxes going up, right? It's more likely today than it was 2, 3, 5 years ago that taxes will be higher in the future. So how do you get around it? Well, the Roth conversion, everybody talks about it. What does it mean and how does it work? Converting to a Roth is taking money from one of those traditional accounts that are to be taxed, paying the tax on it now, and moving it into a Roth IRA. Moving into the Roth IRA means that it's no longer subject to taxes. You pay the tax to get it in there. It can continue to grow tax deferred. You don't have required minimum distributions that you have to take. You're free to spend the money when you like once you're in retirement age, and you don't have to worry about incurring any taxes to do it. So how do you do it? How do you get money from one to the other? You can take it in pieces. There are a number of different strategies that you can employ to effectively move money from traditional to Roth. But one that we work with all the time is called filling up the bracket. So as you know, our tax rates are progressive. The more you make, the more you have to pay in taxes. Right now, 2021, $329,850 if you're married and you file a joint return. $329,850 is the cap on the 24% bracket, meaning you can have up to that in federal income, and you're going to pay 24% on that last chunk up to $329,000, but you're not going to tip over into the next bracket, which jumps all the way up to 32%. If you have a relatively high income, if you've got substantial assets in these retirement accounts that we talked about, that can be a good threshold. Not right for everybody, but that can be a good threshold to say, okay, okay, I can convert up to that dollar amount. So let's say that you're married, you have $140,000 of annual income right now, taxable income. And we just discussed you can go all the way up to $329,000 without bumping past the 24% bracket. And you've got $1.5 million sitting in your qualified retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, etc. Well, if you're at 140 and you can go all the way up to 329, you can convert almost $200,000 into a Roth IRA this year without pushing into a situation where you're paying additional taxes, right? You're going to pay the tax to move it, but you're not going to pay above into a new higher tax bracket. That's called filling up the bracket. You look at how many years you have to go to retirement, you look at where the brackets are and where your income is, and you try to maximize your flexibility inside of that bracket to convert money over. That's only one strategy. We're keeping the video short, so that's all we're going to talk about today. If Roth conversions are something you've thought of, if Roth conversions are something that you know you need to do, but you're not quite sure how to do it, give me a call, shoot me an email, check out the website, antoniosabella.com. As always, thanks for being here. I hope you learned something. I'll see you soon.